Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Fandom Report. I'm your host, Catherine Mora, and today I'm joined by the lovely Alex Koza.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so
I-
excited to have you on the podcast.
I'm so pumped to do this. I can't wait.
Yes. So, for everybody who's listening, today we'll be talking about House of the Dragon season two. Well, House of the Dragon in general, but we'll probably be focusing more on season two so far. And before we get started, though, Alex, just tell our listeners, our viewers, a little bit about you, about your love for Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, what you do on social media. Tell us everything.
Sure. Yeah, so yes, I'm a content creator. I'm an actor first, but content creator I kind of fell into during COVID and I deeply love it. I do a lot of like cosplay, pop culture, mental health stuff. Like I span that weird gambit, which is great. Um and so Game of Thrones was really important to me because during college I lived with my mom's best friend and her whole family.
Okay.
And so it was her and her husband and her three boys. And every Sunday, me and the two parents, because I was the oldest one, like her kids were, I was, 21, her kids were like 16, 13, and 9, I think. Like they were like
Okay.
3 years apart, but us adults, 20, would all come together and watch Game of Thrones. And then her niece started living with us too. It was a
Mhm.
full house. And Katie was my age, and so it became a huge thing every Sunday. All of us watch Game of Thrones together. It became so big that Katie and I, when we moved out, we flew in to Chicago specifically for the finale,
Oh,
just to
wow.
watch it with them.
Yeah.
So I have been a Game of Thrones lover, and listen, the ending,
Ooh. I mean, we could talk about that too, but oh,
but I still love the franchise itself. So I was like, I can't not watch House of the Dragon, and I'm really glad I did because it's just as beautiful.
yes,
Yeah.
100% agree. Yeah, so I mean, I guess also so talking about like how House of the Dragon just such a good show. Because to kind of go back to, Game of Thrones season 8, like before that season came out, the hype for it was like on the same level as Endgame. I
Yes.
feel like it was equally like, and I remember too that I affectionately refer to it as the weekend of death. That Avengers Endgame and The Long Night came out like the same weekend.
Oh,
Those came
I
out like the
didn't
same weekend.
clock
Yes.
that. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So before it happened, I was like, well, I know a bunch of people are gonna die in The Long Night, and a bunch of people will probably die in Endgame, so I was calling it the weekend of death. And then The Long Night happened. It was like, oh, that was kind of
I
a
was like, okay, that
letdown.
wasn't.
Kind of like, and not that I could see what was happening either. Couldn't see a
I
thing.
listen. I love Game of Thrones. Why is it so dark?
Why is it so dark?
I
TV
actually
in general, why?
TV
But
in
like
general
also,
nightmare fuel. But I literally turned up my brightness as bright as it would go, and then rewatched season 1 just to see if I could catch anything, especially like the scene on the beach with Daemon and
yeah.
Rhaenyra. Nothing. Still couldn't see a thing. I was like, I don't even know if they filmed it. I think it's just a dark screen.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, I get kind of like the whole like, well, they don't have electricity,
Yeah.
so we want to keep it, but it's also like if nobody can see what's happening,
Then
then why are you spending millions of dollars? You spend millions of dollars to film these things and you don't put any budget in lighting.
exactly. And light, literally the most important part besides the dragons is lighting.
Yes.
Like
Yes. Speaking of dragons, Meleese,
Melee's.
And Rhaenys.
I was telling my dad that human deaths in House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, whatever, it's fine. We lose some people. We, what? Dragon deaths? Cut my heart out, rip it out, put it in the garbage. Like it's hearing those dragons scream. I will never be okay again. I'll never be okay.
Viserion,
Oh,
when the Night King got him, sobbing, full on like in shell shock essentially,
oh.
and then Rhaegal, which also that was so stupid. It came out of nowhere, and I was so frustrated by it. I'm like, ugh,
That pissed me off.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I loved getting like the frost dragon essentially, but
yeah.
still, like Why are we doing this?
Like Viserion made sense to me, like plot wise. Rhaegal was like they were just like we got to wrap this up, so
Yeah.
let's get it out of here.
Oops.
Essentially,
Exactly.
whoopsies. But then, like with Meleese, I I had a bad feeling, but I was like, if they're gonna do a third season, like I don't think they're gonna start killing people off right just yet.
Mm-hmm.
My mom though, she said like as soon as this like the scene with Rhaenys being like, okay, we got another battle to go to, old girl. Like my mom was like, oh, she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna die. I'm like,
I
oh,
so I've read part of the book. I never finished it because I I don't love George R. R. Martin writing style because I feel like he's a little bit like Tolkien. I love Lord of the Rings, but I can't read it. I have to listen to it because there's so much detail with a lot of characters that I just don't care about. So I knew what was coming for
yeah,
the Battle of I can't remember what
a
Rook's Rest. Yeah.
yeah.
So I knew what was coming. And it still did not lessen the blow of the death. Like I was like, okay, it's gonna happen. We're gonna lose Meleese. It's fine. It's fine. And then she starts screaming, and I was like, oh no, I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. And the when she looks over at Rhaenys,
oh,
like when Vhagar's like chomping at her throat, and she looks back. I'm like, oh no.
Also, I will say, sweet grandma Vhagar, when she was just like so excited to go, and then Almond, as I call him,
Almond, I love it.
and then Almond was like, no, and she just like flopped, like
yes,
sweet baby girl. Also, all of those boys have nicknames for me. It's Almond, Gigi for Aegon because I just can't with him. Crispy Cole, obviously,
Crispy Cole, mm-hmm. Or Crusty
and
Cole.
oh, Krusty Cole. I love Krusty Cole.
Yeah.
Shoot, we made one for Otto, and I can't remember what it was. I hate Otto Hightower.
I like all the men, basically every man in the show
Yes.
except for Viserys,
and
who's
Jace.
no longer in the show.
I
And
love Jace.
Well, no, Jace is kind of okay. So in the last couple episodes, he's been pissing me off a little bit with his attitude. Like his like, well, where were you? You didn't tell anybody where you were going. And then he's like, well, you know what? I'm frustrated that I'm just sitting around here all the time. Blah blah blah. I'm like, boy, if you talk back to your mama like that one more time.
I know he got spunky. I love him and Bela, but you know, he has when he was like, "Oh, what does the queen want?" He was like, "Bent knee." I was like,
yeah, that was pretty good.
Oh, we're getting sassy.
Yeah, I was like, you're by the time like you know, quote unquote ascend the throne, because I'm pretty sure like that's not gonna happen. I haven't read the book, so I'm like I'm 95% sure that doesn't happen. Because there was like never a queen, because it like common logic, like if you've seen Game of Thrones, like the whole thing, like there's never a queen of Westeros until Cersei.
Correct.
So I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, that means Rhaenyra like never ascends the throne. Which means Jace doesn't either. Like by the time you get to that point, like your head's gonna be too big for your crown. So like just cool it down a little bit, Jace.
I do know how this succession plays out. Like I ended up, since I didn't finish the book, I did read through it, and I won't give anything away, but it's a very interesting, weird, twisted succession, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Because they're all just killing each other. Like everybody is it's just murder central up here. And also murder central. Can we just talk about Daemon in the last episode when he was like, I didn't think they'd just die that easily.
Well, because the thing was, so he did end up killing them.
Oh
yeah,
he
let them go.
He burnt them all.
He did kill them.
Caraxes and him were like, peace up, A-Town.
Yeah.
Literally destroyed them.
Because that's what I thought, but then he kept saying like, well, I need men like that in my army. So I was like, oh, so did you let them live? That doesn't seem very in character. Okay, that makes more sense. The fact that he did actually, that makes a lot more sense. Also, his whole thing with like going crazy, I'm like, okay, that woman is totally a ghost, the ghost of Harrenhal. I'm like, she's not real.
She is the witch. She is a witch. Yes, she's very important. She is kind of like oh, I can't remember her name, the red-haired witch who gave birth to the Shadow Baby.
Melisandre.
Yes, she's very similar to her. And so she is causing this shit. Like I can't remember exactly what her plot line is, but she's twisting him. Like she is destroying him, and I love it. he is just he's getting so broken down by this woman, and I think it's so poetically beautiful since he was trying to destroy, well, not destroy, but he was like essentially
Twisting.
yeah,
Yeah.
trying to hurt Rhaenyra, and I'm like, oh no, you get this. Although I love that their dragons are in love, and I don't want them to
Yeah.
fight because their dragons are in love.
Yeah. I know. I know. And it's because like the dragons are supposed to be like an extension of the rider and vice versa. So I'm like, okay, like besides the whole incest thing, because you know they're Targaryens. Okay, this is just something that we have to accept in this fandom.
Yep.
And like the whole grooming thing, like it's. I want to say it's like the chemistry that these actors have.
Yes.
Like the two of them together, they just have this chemistry that like makes you want to root for them. But then
Exactly.
you're watching their storylines play out and everything, and you're like, no, this is not. It's not good.
Honestly, the only people I root for at this point are Bela and Jace. Like, they're the only couple. And you know what's funny is I was trying to explain this to my roommate. She was like, are they related? And I'm like, no. But yes. Like, they're not blood related, but
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of are by like cousins or whatever, but
Yeah. Distantly
that's
enough.
way less related than the rest of them are. So
it's like less than Jon Snow and Khaleesi.
exactly.
Like,
And so I was like, so no and yes. So if they have babies, you know, rock on. But that family tree is so twisted. I ended up looking it up last night because it is. I pulled it up because I just literally every single of every single one is all connected with the exact same names every single time. Every single time. I was like, no wonder why we started a war because we don't know different names. No
yeah.
one has an original
Yeah.
name in this family.
They don't have original names. I mean, not to go back to Game of Thrones, but like,
yes,
Lyanna Stark named Jon Snow Aegon when Rhaegar already had a son named Aegon.
I what? And
Like,
like I understand that they're kind of taking from like Henrys and Phillips of like
yeah.
British royalty, but at the same time, we didn't have two Henrys. We didn't have two Henrys
No.
in the same family. We had at
No.
least a separation.
Yes. They were at least a generation apart. Like,
The memes that came out of not last night's episode, but the episode before. Was it the episode before? Whichever one Alicent realized that
oh, yes.
she started a war
Yes.
because of a name switch. Like,
yeah.
I was losing my mind because this could have all been fixed if everyone had different names.
All this could have been avoided if there were different names. But also, like, so on that thread with Alicent, I go back and forth between like being so frustrated and hating this woman and feeling so frustrated for this woman.
Yes.
Like her getting married and becoming, you know, the queen consort in the first place was a whole scheme by her father. But then she like lets her paranoia and his like meddling get to her head and starts causing all of these problems. Then she's like, oh, you know what? You know, Rhaenyra, you're going to make a great queen. Like, basically saying, I support you, whatever.
Exactly.
The very next day, she's like, oh, he said there's no chance whatsoever that he's like delirious from the pain or from the medicine. This is 100% what he means.
This is exactly what he said.
Yes.
And also it sucks because it's like on that same thread, like she is a creature of her circumstance, which is like, oh, I want to feel bad for you because you haven't had an original thought really since you were a child because it's all been dictated by the men in your life. But at the same time, I hate you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You are causing so much destruction for your own like political gain. When she got put in her place last night, when they wouldn't let her be the queen consort and her face just like crumpled, I was so happy.
And the fact is, like, she was basically selling feet pics to one of the guys.
Oh my god,
She was sleeping with the other guy.
Yes!
Her son is in the room, and they're all like, nah, no thank you. You can sit back down.
Oh my god.
I was honestly laughing the whole time.
I was so happy. I was like, look at you getting your medicine. Look at you. You're like, oh, wait, I can't be in charge? Yeah. No. Helena over there is also like, what's she doing?
She's just... So, like, kind of a side note, when the news broke about, like, the baby's head getting sliced off. And then Rhaenyra's like, how could anyone think I would do that to Helena of all people? I was like, she gets it.
Yep.
She understands. Helena's baby.
Helena
She's
is
an
baby
innocent
girl.
soul surrounded by like all these horrible, vile people.
Ugh. I feel so bad. Helena's story is very sad. It's sad start to end, and I just feel so bad for her because she's like she's not a prophet, but she sees the future a bit, like she
Yeah,
has dreams.
she has dreams.
She knows what's going to happen. Like she knows how bad it's going to get, and she's kind of like in the book she never, I don't know if they'll do it differently in the show, but she never visits Aegon ever when he is in that bed. For the rest of their lives together, she never once visits him. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, that tracks. I mean, because also it makes sense because there's that scene. It's the scene. I forget what episode, but it's the episode where she and Alicent are on the carriage and they're basically showing the body to everyone. That she and Aegon cross paths in the staircase, and he doesn't even say anything to her. He just
He
keeps walking.
the mommy issue the mommy issues that these boys have that then they carry on to their partners. I Also, it's so sad that Almond has to go to a freaking brothel to be cuddled by a woman because his mother has
Yeah,
never once shown him love. I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, and also like that scene where Aegon and his buddies like find him. I'm like, that's the moment where Aemon was like, you know what? I'm gonna take you out.
I'm gonna
I'm done
murder
with you.
you. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
murder you. When he almost
Yep.
killed him and Cole was standing there like, what are you?
Yeah. Yeah. So he 100% was like that was an attempted assassination, right? Like he was trying to murder his brother.
100%.
He wanted him out of the picture. He wants I mean, he
He,
before they even declared like who was going to be the regent, he already had the dagger. He already had Aegon's dagger.
yeah. I,
So,
and the thing is, I don't know if he actually wanted to kill him. I think he wanted to maim him enough that he could never be king again because I mean, technically he would be the next king. Technically it'd be Rhaenyra. So
mhm.
either way, he would have found a way to be king, whether he
Yeah.
actually ended up murdering him or not. But he's smart. He's just way too smart for his own good. And he also has a face card to match. His little like pouty lip that he does every time he's thinking. I was like, sir, we are not giving face in Westeros, okay? Like,
No, the fact that like when they're bringing in like the crate where they have Aegon's body hidden
mhm.
and he's like he can barely hold back his smirk. And Allison's looking at him. I'm like, woman, you already know that he had something to do with this. And she's asking around, like, what was his part in this? Like, well, it's like, you already know. You already know. Do
And then
something.
freaking Crispy Cole's just standing there like, oh doo doo, I saw nothing.
So those two, I don't know if the books goes into this, they're 100% plotting, like but I feel like because we saw that they were like planning some attacks, and then Aegon finds out like, oh, you guys have been like doing battle plans without me. I think they were plotting something together. This is just a theory, but then when he saw the dragons in action, it broke him. It like broke something inside of him.
I
That
think
was
he realized how little he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because he's never gonna get a dragon. Like when they were talking about how let's find the bastards, let's find more dragon riders, which is such a cool moment, and I can't wait for them to do it. He's not gonna be one of them because he doesn't have any Targaryen blood. He's got to stay on the ground. Two women have now destroyed his self confidence
Oh
and
yeah.
pushed him to the wayside. And I'm like,
Deserved. Okay, when Allison said, I asked you to my bed, I didn't give you leave to say my name, that was like, yes, queen moment.
Sh- I this man has been destroyed by these women and he keeps coming back. I am like, are you okay? Are you Where is this stemming from, friend? Like,
And the thing is, like with him, he's so full of himself.
oh yeah.
I hate him so much. Like, even like something as subtle as the costuming, he's like the hand of the king now. All the freaking hands around his on his armor. I'm like, you, sir, you are so full of it. The audacity.
It's so I was actually thinking about that last night. I was trying to think back in Game of Thrones history if any of the Hands of the King ever had a necklace of hands, because I don't remember like Bran Stark, or not Bran, LOL. Sean Bond,
Ned.
Sean Bond, Ned, Sean Bond, Scene Bean. I remember Ned. I don't think he ever had like the hand. Granted, he
No,
didn't
it's
wear.
always a pin.
Yeah, he didn't wear a lot of armor, but still, I was like, I think you're the first one to be that pretentious that you were like, I need a necklace of hands.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, sir, you could literally, like, I understand you can't pin a
yeah,
pin onto your armor, but you can get like a breastplate or whatever with it, like with a pin shape, like molded, I get, for the lack of a better term, like molded into the armor. Like, we don't need all this extra stuff going on.
no, no, we don't. I need him to die.
Yes.
Need him. I
Okay, the
like.
fact
Uh,
I thought, I genuinely thought for a moment in that Battle of Rook's Rest, when he falls to the ground and blacks, I thought he was dead. I
Me
let
too.
out the loudest cheer. I was clapping. I was like jumping in my seat. And lo and behold, he still
He's
lives.
there.
He is there.
He is a wily one. I think he makes it for a little bit, if I remember correctly, because he gets under your foot. Like, he knows the right people to, ally with, and it's really stupid.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
oh, what's the one that she did the feat with? Is it Blackwood?
Um,
Blackfoot? Um
Lara's strong. I don't know what
Strong. You're
his.
right. It's Strong. There's so many houses. I was trying to explain it to my roommate last night. I was like, so here we've got River Run. Here we've got Harrendell. This is King's Landing. And then we have the river. And I was like, actually, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But Lars also is so brilliant. And I kind of want to see more of him, even though I deeply hate him, because he's so good at what he does.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
he reminds me of Littlefinger. Obviously, he's supposed to. But, oh, he's so smart.
I mean, since season 1, he's been stirring the pot. Like when he let it slip to Alicent, like, oh, I thought she was sick, but I'm so glad she's feeling better. Like the Maester sent her a tea, blah blah blah. Like
Yep.
he's exactly like I honestly didn't think of it that way until you said it, but 100% like he's supposed to be like this show's version of Littlefinger.
Exactly. It's going to be really interesting to see how it progresses. I just I can't watch the rest of the dragons die, because we know that's how it ends. That's the whole point. It's the dance of the dragons. We're going to lose all the dragons. I don't want to watch the babies die.
I know.
Like Sea
I
Smoke
know.
and Cyrax is my girl. Like Cyrax, her little necklace that she has. I'm like, no, it's gonna be awful.
Yeah. No, and but the thing is, because I was thinking about this in episode 5, I think it was, that just aired, when they're carting the dragon's head through
Ugh,
King's Landing. I'm like, I understand where you're coming from, that you want to be like, oh yeah, we won. But I'm like, you're showing a vulnerability. You're showing that dragons can be killed.
exactly. When he was like, "It's just flesh," the guy on the wall was like, "It's just flesh." I was like, "Ooh,
That's where it
ooh,
starts.
that's not
That's how it
good."
starts.
Oh, also, side note, for the most loyal companion in all of Westeros, that dog who was
I
following
know.
his dead owner out of the
After
castle.
he kicked him.
I literally was like, if this dog does not get, like, have what is his name? The blonde with the sick daughter. His first
Oh
name's Hugh.
yes.
Can't remember his
Yeah.
last name. Have him adopt the dog. Like, just save that poor sweet puppy.
You know what I just realized? Because they're starving in the city, that dog is going to end up getting eaten. Because everyone is starving. Because the animals, like the pets, are going to go,
Well,
and then potentially they're going to turn and like start eating each other.
but he got out. He got out. Remember, he left the walls with the dead bodies. They closed the gate.
No, they went into the castle. Weren't they going into the castle walls? I think.
I thought they were leaving. I don't know.
I think that, no, because yes, they were going into the castle walls, because as the cart is going
No.
in, that's when Alicent is coming out to talk to Cole. He's gonna
No,
get eaten.
I don't want
Mm-hmm.
it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want it.
I don't like it.
I think if we're gonna get a lot of dragon deaths, the puppy
Mm-hmm.
should survive.
They should. That would be nice.
'Cause, like, come on.
I
Come on.
know. I
When they
know.
kill Sunfire, when they kill her, that'll be the end of me. I love her, the smaller female dragon who I think Bela is her owner. I won't do well.
Yes.
I won't. That'll be the
I
end
know.
because
I
she's
know.
precious.
Like just
And sweet, sweet Sunfire when he was like, "We're just going on a ride, me and my dad, me and my person."
mm-hmm.
And then he got fucking wrecked by Vagar. I was like, "Oh my god." Oh.
Oh, and yes, when Luke died. Oh my
When
gosh,
no
that
when
no, not
no Aegon, when Aegon, his dragon, the
oh
sweet
yes,
sweet,
yes, yes, yes.
when he was like, "Hi, we're just going on a little ride."
Right. Yes.
No, but Luke's dragon, that death,
That was yeah, that was rough.
ripping it to shreds.
Yeah.
I watched with my hand over my face. I was like, I can't even
Mm-hmm.
look at this.
Yeah. No, that was like this show's like Ned Stark beheading.
Exactly,
That
100%.
to be like, no, actually this is what this show is gonna be about. Like,
Yep.
yeah, it was all politics before and people talking. No, this is what actually is going to happen.
And I will say, I know some people don't like that we're getting kind of like political episode fight, political episode fight. I like that because I think it gives a lot more context to why everyone dies, and we're not just going in for like a stupid battle. I think Game of Thrones does a very good job of where every battle has a point and every fight has a reason, which some shows don't have, some books don't have. And I appreciate that they take the time to actually set it up instead of just like going for it, which is why I like that they're setting up. We're going to get more dragon riders. They're going to be the bastards from the Targaryens. Like, we're going to do this so then they can all eat each other. Like, we're going to set it up. We're going to set it up really nice for all of us to cry.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a really good point. I think people have forgotten that part of the reason why season 8, and you can even go as far to say season 7 of Game of Thrones like was not as good as the previous 6 seasons was because they basically were just like, we're just going to go do all the battles. It's just going
Exactly.
to be battles, fights, skirmishes, like all just action all the time. And part of what made Game of Thrones so good, the earlier seasons, like there were rarely, you'd have like one battle a season because the whole season was building up to that. It was all politics, it was all scheming. And then
It would
the
explode.
climax of it,
Yeah.
exactly, literally, it would explode if you're talking about Battle of Blackwater.
Yes, yeah, and I loved that. And I also will say I feel like we lost the character development plot line in like 7 and 8 because they were like, "Oh crap, we have 18 characters that we have to wrap up." And the only follow through, my favorite characters that I thought they actually kept a through line were Sansa, Littlefinger, kind of Arya, but her ending still pissed me off because it should have been Jon Snow who killed the Night King. Um and Tyrion. Because I also think the Lannisters, I don't think Cersei should have died in his arms.
Oh no,
She's
absolutely not.
the prophecy said she would be killed by a little sibling.
Yeah. It,
Girl,
that the rubble is not a sibling.
the rubble. It should have been Arya in Jaime's face. It should have been Arya in Jaime's face killing Cersei. And I will. That is forever. Not even Dany's end. Like that pissed me off. No, Cersei's end is what got me like
Because
fired.
she had nothing in that
No,
last season.
nothing.
She had nothing. Like she just stood there all the time. She like kept going back and forth with what's the guy's name? Euron.
Again, all the same names. Yes, exactly.
They all have the same names. Him, like she kept going back and forth with like, I'm not gonna sleep with you. Oh wait, are you coming? Like she was such a great character. She was one of the best characters, and basically for her to have nothing in the final season.
I hope they don't do that to Rhaenyra. I hope, and I like that we have two strong female leads as both leads of both houses, and hope houses, they're the same house, but you know what I mean, green and black.
Both sides, yeah.
So hopefully they don't mess up their like ending slash character follow through, because it would suck. It would suck if we get like a great climax for Daemon and for Aegon or Aemond, but then they're just kind of like left in the dust. Like that's not cool. We got to make sure they're set up.
Yeah, I think I hope. I hope they'll be fine. Especially because they are like the faces of this show. They are like, you could say in Game of Thrones, like, who's the main character? You could say it's Jon Snow. You could say it's Daenerys. You could say it's Sansa, Tyrion. There's a lot of different people, but like with this show, they're very clearly the protagonists, with everyone else being like a very close supporting cast.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see if they're going to change the kill order for who dies, because some people are going to die sooner than other that I would be surprised if they killed them in the same order. Because I
Interesting.
think they're setting up for a lot of people to have more screen time and more character development than they actually
Yeah.
get, which I'd be down for. But it'll book changes. It'll need some book changes for that to happen.
Gotcha. Well,
Hmm.
you never know. You never know, especially now because like George R. Martin is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write another Fire and Blood book, to like expand a little more on things. It's like, well, first of all, finish A Song of Ice and Fire.
Finish
Finish
that
that series
one.
first.
Also, I can't. His side characters. I think it was the third book, maybe, of Game of Thrones that I literally didn't. I couldn't read it. It was all side characters. It was none of the main cast, and I was like, I can't even finish this. None of you matter to me. Not to be that person, but I was like, why am I reading about the porter? I don't care. I was so annoyed.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, that's like the thing about Game of Thrones. Not to keep going back to Game of Thrones, but like they did such a good job with the side characters. Like the
Yes.
side characters, same with the battles. They're always had a reason. They always like move the plot forward in some way. And I feel like House of the Dragon is doing the same thing. Not that there's a lot of side characters, like there's a supporting cast, but everybody who we see on screen does something for the plot.
I am so excited for Hugh Hall. I think that is his name. The blonde man with the sick daughter.
Yes.
His story in the books is my favorite. Hugh Hall is so amazing. And last night when we kind of got more of him, and then I just cannot wait. And I love secondary characters like that. Uh, Rob's wife, great secondary character, stunning, loved her from finish to end. And I think that's kind of how Hugh is going to be, where you'd like fall in love with him and deeply root for him. And I'm so excited about it. And for the snake, the gray snake, is that
Oh
her name?
yes. The
I can't remember her name. She used to
the
be with Daemon, and then now she works for
oh
Rhaenyra.
yes.
Yes,
Yes, yes, yes.
I can't wait for more of her
Yeah.
too, being such a sneaky little
Hmm.
underfoot. I'm like, you go, girl. And the side characters always just make it so much better.
Yes,
Oh, I
they
love it
do.
so much.
They do. Because in this franchise, like, the side characters are the heroes of their own story. They're not just there as like cannon fodder, or well, sometimes, but like for a reason. Like they're not just there like just to be there. They're actively like scheming and trying to get through in life and trying to like, survive in this crazy world.
Exactly. They are not
So
just plot
it's
devices. Like they're
yeah.
very, very well done.
Mhm.
I love it. I can't wait. I can't wait for next episode. We're gonna get Vermithor. Vermithor, I think his name is the giant dragon.
Yes.
The one in the
So is that the one that Damon was like singing to last season?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes,
He
because I
hasn't
was like,
had.
okay, we saw this. No,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
No, he hasn't had a rider in like centuries. I think. Like I think he's been riderless for so long. And Damon was trying to become a double rider. He was like, I want two dragons. And they're like, no,
You can't do that.
you have
It's against the
Caraxes.
rules.
Caraxes is fabulous. You don't need another
Yes.
one. Like,
Yeah. I mean, although it's very in character for Damon, like to try to quote unquote upgrade to a big dragon from like his skinny little
I
like
know, his little red
flying
dragon.
squirrel looking dragon.
I think he's going to be really cool. Him in that cave. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. And I loved the that we didn't see this on screen, but it was basically told to us that um not Bela, Reina, that's the name of
Yeah,
the
the
riderless
the
sister,
the
the
youngest one.
dragonless
Mm-hmm.
sister. Yes, that she tried to bond with one of those dragons, and she almost died doing it. So I'm like, oh, poor girl. She just wants a dragon.
I also think it's really interesting that they confirmed that the eggs she brought with her were Dany's future eggs, because you don't know in the books. You don't know how they get them. They just, he's
I
like,
missed that
yeah,
part.
he's like, I found them. I can't remember what the guy says who gives it to her at her wedding, where he was like, I found it so and so. No one really knows where they came from in the books. So it's cool
Oh.
that they were like, yes, Cyrix's 3 eggs are Dany's eggs.
Oh. I 100% missed that. Look at that little Easter egg.
Yeah, and I was like, that's cool. Thank you for that, for letting us know, because it was the red, the yellow, and the green. And I was like,
Yes. There we go.
our
There we go.
babies? Our babies?
Oh, rip. I
Exactly.
mean, Drogon is out there flying around doing who knows what.
In my brain, Drogon goes back and claims Jon Snow. In my brain, he goes back and he's like, I'm alone. And Jon Snow's like, put her there. And then they hug and make up, and it's great.
There we go.
It's probably not correct.
Probably not. I love the memes that like after that Drogon, he's like trying to wake up his mom. He sees a little knife in her, and then he doesn't kill Jon Snow. Instead, he melts down the chair made of other pointy things because he's like, "Oh, this is your fault."
God, I would love it if that happens. God, I would love it. I need the Iron Throne to just be melted into a puddle. So horrible.
I know. I like honestly though. I like the Iron Throne more in House of the Dragon than in Game of Thrones.
They remade it so it looks more like the book. Like, it's the whole entrance hall, or hall. I'm like, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it looks more imposing and more like, like a big deal, which it's supposed to be because it's the freaking Iron Throne.
And the
Uh,
fact that it kept hurting Jacaerys, I was like, you are not meant to be king. We all knew you weren't. But the fact that even the throne was like, I don't want you sitting on me,
yeah,
should have been Rhaenys.
it should have been Rhaenys. All this could have been avoided.
If we just had a lady on the throne. Sounds like America today. Like, just fix the issue. Or if we had dragons. But, like, I digress.
I feel like dragons in modern day society would probably be a lot worse.
It'd be a lot worse. It'd be so much worse. It's like when everyone at Jurassic Park, when they're like, would we really do this? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Death and destruction, we would do it 400 times in a row to just try and protect it. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, AI, like totally separate topic, but like AI, we have how many movies showing like this is something that we have to be very, not that we can't have AI at all, but like we should be careful. And they're just like, you know what? Let's train it to like fly planes. Let's train it to like think like humans and have emotions.
Hate it. I, Robot, as a kid, the Will Smith movie, used to scare the crap out of me. Because I was like, we're going to be taken over. We're going to be taken over by robots. And if I don't befriend the one nice one, we're screwed. And I say thank you to my my Alexa every time she does something for me. I'm like, thank you.
I'm always so polite to my electronics because I'm like,
exactly.
guys.
You don't know. They could turn into Transformers at some point and like come to life. And then I'm going to have to be like, oh my God, sorry. Like,
it's like, sorry, I to my fridge. Sorry, I slammed you a little too hard that one time. Like,
exactly.
it slipped.
They don't have to think about any of that because they don't have freaking lighting. Thrones.
No lighting, no electricity whatsoever.
You would think their inventions would be a little more progressed, I will say. But also, I guess when you have dragons, you don't really need to progress anything.
You don't really care. Although, one thing that's interesting, in the first episode, I think it was, that huge arena where they're having the tourney, right? And then you think about the tourney from season 1 of Game of Thrones. Like, obviously, in reality, we know it's because House of the Dragon has a much larger budget than season 1 of Game of Thrones did. But I feel like it also works within the canon of the story, because when House Targaryen falls, that's what starts the decline of Westeros.
Exactly.
Leading all the way to Robert's reign, where they basically the council tells Ned, like, we have no more coin. We're in debt. So, of course, like, everything has fallen apart.
It's so well done. It's such a good storytelling show. It's And it's why I will continue to watch it, even when they murder dragons, even when one episode they only talk for 2 hours. I will still watch it because it's so brilliant, and every actor in it is stupid. I hate them all for how talented they are. I'm like, how dare you be so incredible?
They're so talented, and they're like they play off of each other so well.
Ugh. Even in interviews, you can tell how deeply connected the cast is. Like, you can just tell how much they trust each other, which is so important in a show like this. And I'm like, it's unmatched. It's unmatched.
It's really good. And also the casting for young Rhaenyra, older Rhaenyra, young Alicent, older Alicent, like that casting director, honestly,
Impeccable.
like so good. So good.
It's like it honestly felt like when they cast like a parent and their child, because like I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw the Godzilla show,
Mhm.
Monarch, when they had Jeff Bridges played by his son, Jeff
Yes.
Bridges, not Jeff Bridges, it's
No.
Santa Claus. Oh my God, what is his name?
From the Santa Claus?
No. He
No.
he was the Santa Claus in the Santa Chronicles. He's
I don't know.
married to Goldie Hawn.
Oh, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
And
Wyatt.
Wyatt Russell.
And
Yes.
Wyatt. Oh my
yes.
God. Alexandra.
Yes.
Wyatt and Kurt Russell. When they were cast as the same character, but younger and older, it's so perfect. It's eerie, obviously because they're related, but it felt that way for this too, where I was like, you look like you're related in real life. Like you look like you are the same
sure
people.
You're not sisters? Yeah.
Exactly. It's so
Yeah.
still weird that Daemon and them didn't have younger castings, but it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Basically, they're trying to tell us like they're already old.
Yeah.
At this point in the story, they're already old.
My
So.
my roommate asked me. She was like, because she's never seen it, and she like sat with me last night, and she was like pointing at Allison. She was like, "Who is that? Is that his sister?" And I was like, "No, that's his mom." And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, she's technically in the books. I think she's only like technically like late 20s, maybe early 30s. Like she's pretty young." And she had kids very young, but I was like, no, it is a little odd that they all look the same age.
Yeah.
It's fine. We'll digress. We get over it.
Well, because the mom died young. Like she died. Did she die in childbirth?
She did. She died in childbirth.
Okay.
And so I swear, if I remember correctly, Alicent was married to him at like 12 or 13. Like I think like she was stupid young. So it would make sense for the kids to be, I think they're supposed to be like 16 to 18 years old in this.
Okay.
Obviously they look older and cast older just so it doesn't seem as creepy, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that they're all very young idiots. And also, I mean, they don't live that long. Like Jacaerys, the fact that he was like 70 or something is pretty insane. So he might have even been like 50. He just looked like a zombie. I don't even know how old that man was.
I mean, in that time period, I feel like at that point you make it to like 60 or.
No, you're an elder if you make it to like 40, I feel like. It's like, oh my God.
It's like, are we sure they're still alive?
Are you cool? Yep. I don't know. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess for the rest of the season, and that's okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh.
Oh. I'm not prepared, but I'm prepared. Like, I get so excited for Sundays. I get my little bottle of wine, and I sit down on my couch, and I pour my red wine, and I just stare.
Yeah. No, it's honestly, it does feel like being back in like the Game of Thrones like hype days. Like the show is so good right now, and I love it so much, and I'm really sad that we only have like 3 episodes left.
I know. I'm tired of these like 9. I mean, the fact that they're giving us like I think 8 or 9 is pretty great, but I'm tired of it. Like give us back 15. Like Supernatural had 45-minute episodes and like 15 episodes a season. Like you can
20 something.
And yes, I know it's the CW, but you can give us
the fact that they did it, and they did it for like 15 years or something like that.
It's insane. It
can
to
be
me.
done.
And like Stranger Things, they're talking about, I don't know, it's like 6 episodes or something, and they're like each one's an hour and a half. And I was like, okay, so 6 movies, but at the same time, I kind of wish that it was like 30 to 40 minute episodes and you gave us 10. 10 or 15. I don't know why that seems so much more palatable and like wanted than these like movie long episodes, but
Yeah. I agree. I didn't mind so far so much Stranger Things 4, where it was like we had like the normal like first like 8 episodes, and then the last 2 were like movie length.
yes, I did like
Like
that
that was
too.
okay to me. That
Yeah.
was okay to me. But I do miss, the quote unquote filler episodes. Like you get so much from those episodes. It builds the world, it builds the characters, the relationships with each other, and they only serve those like again, quote unquote important episodes.
Honestly, filler episodes are my favorite episodes. I will not the episode of Supernatural where Dean the Groundhog Day episode where
Yes,
that is one of my favorite episodes of the show, and it did not move the plot forward at all.
in any shape or form.
There was no plot movement, and it's like the
Mhm.
episode that stuck with my brain too.
Yeah, that one and the French Mistake, where they
Oh
like
my
get
god,
transported to our world. Yeah,
yes! I
yes, those are
just
two of like the best episodes.
I like went out of focus. Literally because I got so excited. No, exactly. I mean, just give us, and yeah, yes, it won't make sense for Game of Thrones. We're not going to get a filler episode in House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones. Stranger Things, you could 100% give us like a filler episode of them going to the Starcourt Mall was a perfect example where they could have given us fillers, or even just like I don't know, 40 minutes of happiness.
Yeah,
Like, can we just have a moment of joy? Because
no, for real. Like Stranger Things writers, like stop hurting these kids challenge.
literally, there's like no moments of joy in the show anymore. And I'm just like, I can't wait to be traumatized for 2 hours.
Oh yeah, oh
It's,
yeah.
I mean, that's why I always rewatch freaking Bob's Burgers because it's just joy and stupidity. And sometimes I just need to feel happy. And like,
Sometimes you just need to feel happiness.
oh my God, every show right now is sad and it's beautiful and wonderful. And I'm, of course, going to watch all of them. But I'd also like My Lady Jane, joy from start to finish. Great. Game of Thrones, we get 2 minutes of happiness when Jason Bayless speak, and then that is all you get for the entire hour. Like,
Pretty much.
okay.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's and it's like I know what I'm getting into watching this show. Like I know this isn't a show to watch to like get some joy. But at the same time, it's like I also love these characters so much that I want them to have happiness. But I'm like, well, that's what AO3 is for.
Literally,
guys.
though. Literally. Let me just go read happy things. Let me just go read joyful moments since we're not going to get them in House of the Dragon. Game of Thrones, we
Yeah.
did. We got so many cute moments with
Mhm.
John and his wife. Not John.
Rob.
And his wife. And
I was like, Jon Snow got married. I missed that
Nope.
episode.
like in him training or John with Ygritte, like we got a lot of really sweet, wonderful moments, and we have not had. I don't think we've had a single moment of joy in this show, except for the dinner party scene. There's the one
Yeah,
scene.
that was the one, and even that had like some tension
Yeah,
in it. But yeah, I'm trying to think.
there's been no happiness ever since then. Season 1, episode like 7.
And then the very next episode, I think it was that
He
the
died.
kid gets eaten by a dragon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Very next episode.
So happy
or
to be
2
here.
episodes later. Yep.
So
Yeah.
happy.
It's like, okay, great job, guys.
And yet,
Let's do it again next week.
I will watch it every week, every single week without fail.
Yep. 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. I am seated. I am ready.
Seated. Let's go. Make me cry. Have a great day.
Also, total like it's still related, but like kind of a tangent. What are your thoughts on the fact that they reused the theme song?
I loved it. I was so here for it.
Yeah,
I know. I
okay,
know
cool,
some
me
people
too.
hated it. I know some people hated it. I did not. You gave us a new opening with the tapestry. Great. It's the same universe.
No, I loved how they changed the animation
Yes.
for the second season. Yeah.
We don't need a new theme song. We don't need one. Like it's the Game of Thrones universe. It is
Yes.
mwah. Perfect.
Yes. Star Wars has the same theme song.
Yeah.
And like every single thing. Like,
I mean,
it's fine.
It's like I really was actually excited when it started because it felt nostalgic. I was like,
Yeah.
we're back.
Yeah.
Yay.
No, exactly. It's like, oh my god, we're so back. We're
Mhm.
so back.
Oh, there was that TikTok that came out when it started back the first season, and it was someone was standing on a street looking up at apartments in New York, and all of the windows were
Yes.
playing House of the
The,
Dragon.
the, yeah.
And it like I have chills thinking about it. It just like gives you that kind of like Sonder moment of like watching from afar of people just living life. And it's so cool to see how many lives are affected by this show just in that purest form of like every Sunday we will sit our asses down across this entire country and watch this show, which is just so cool.
Like it's connecting us all. Like we don't even realize like we're connecting with all these different people. Like it's an isolated experience, but it's also a shared experience.
Yes, exactly. And it's such a cool thing to think about and like watch that TikTok and be like, look at all those individual people who have been going about their regular everyday life. Now just take a moment to watch dragons. Like it's such a cool, lovely feeling.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It actually reminds me of, I don't know if you've ever seen them on YouTube. It's the Burlington Bar. I'm not 100% sure what city it's in. It might be Chicago, actually. This bar where they were more popular during Game of Thrones. Basically, the patrons would come in and they would watch
Yes,
Game of Thrones on the TVs, on the TV screens in there, and everybody was in there just to watch Game of Thrones together.
yes, I remember because I remember the reactions from the finale and the episode where Arya killed the Night King.
Yeah, it just
Um,
brings me back to like, especially, I feel like especially season 6 and 7. I guess also season 8. Like, if you ignore like the disappointment people were feeling during season 8, like just this, because you watch it and then back then, we were going into the office because this was like pre-COVID, like people going into the office, like, oh, you saw Game of Thrones last night, right? Oh, you didn't? Okay, we're gonna go away so we don't spoil it for you. But it was basically like, I remember at the place I used to work at, we'd come in Monday morning and like the first hour there was no work getting done.
oh
We were
yeah.
just talking about this show.
Oh no, it's exactly. And I mean, like, you make connections through it too. Like, one of my best friends, he would come over every Sunday, except for the finale when I went to Chicago, and we would watch it together because it was the only like time we hung, we could see each other and we would watch it and like talk about it and lose our minds over it. And then I'd go to my serving job the next day and we'd all be like, so, Daenerys, what a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happened? And it's just fun, and I like sitting on the subway sometimes on a Monday and seeing if anyone's watching it on their phones because sometimes people will watch it
Yeah.
on their commutes, and I'm like, oh, you're doing it. It's a coming together. I don't think any show has really brought people together quite like Game of Thrones and House of the
Yeah.
Dragon.
Not recently.
No, I don't feel like
Not
there has been
recently.
a show that's really really done that.
The last one I can think of is Lost.
God,
That's the
yeah,
last one I can think of that
yeah.
like everybody was like anticipating the finale and talking about it. That, and I guess The Sopranos too,
Yeah, I
because
feel
those
like
were like kind of close to each
I
other.
think Lost was definitely bigger than The Sopranos in the way that that was like
Hmm.
kind of the coming together, but I do think House of Dragons spans more, like all of that. Which is why it's just such it's they can't go wrong. They're doing so good and they just need to keep it up. And we're all here for Dead Dragons. We know what's coming. It's fine.
We know
It's
we
fine.
signed up for this.
We're
We
putting
signed up
ourselves
for it.
through it because we love it.
Hmm.
I love crying on Sundays. Let's go. Like,
It prepares me to face my Mondays.
exactly. So
Forget all my tears out Sunday night. I don't have any left for Monday morning.
it's perfect. It's literally perfect. That's the greatest thing they could have ever done for us. Done.
Oh man, but yeah, it's so good. I can't wait to see how they wrap up this season. We know that they already confirmed a season 3, so before the season premiere even came out. So that's amazing. I'm very excited. Hopefully they start filming soon, so we don't have to wait too long.
I hope so. I hope so.
But
We'll see what happens.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yes.
So that's it for this episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and thank you, Alex, for joining me. Please tell everybody listening and watching where they can find you.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Anytime I get to
Yeah.
talk about dragons for an hour brings me joy. But you can find me TikTok and Instagram. It's Alex .bo.balex, so ALEX period BOE period BALEX. That's primarily where I am. I'm also on YouTube with the same username, except it's dashes instead of periods because that one was taken.
Oh no.
But yeah, that's where you can find me if you want to see more fun cosplays. I have San Diego Comic-Con coming up, so I'm gonna unveil some new stuff there, so that'll be fun too.
Ooh, very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And for those of you watching on YouTube, we'll have all of Alex's links in the description below. Podcast people, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I can't help you with that. But we appreciate you all the same.
Yes.
So, again, thank you guys all so much for tuning in, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.